So first step is not the easiest one to solve, but just say the most important thing is you need to have people paying for your services. So that challenge needs to be solved before anything else happens. So the ways that we've worked on that, old fashioned, knocking on doors, sleeping under people's desks, doing anything we could to get them to trust us that we can help their people get healthier. That was what our journey looked like, and doing it at a very grassroots level, leveraging our networks and contacts and once removes to have someone give us a shot, a chance. And then the hard work begins, which is how do you effectively deliver care, do it consistently with a high degree of personalization, but doing it at scale so you can actually make money. And that is a challenge that I spend most of my time on today, solving for coaching teams and also for individual coaches.
Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. I'm your host, Omar Cumberbatch of OmarCumberbatch.com. I am so excited for 2023. This is amazing. I can't believe we've been on such a great run with this podcast. I'm so excited to just start this new year. And I really want to just take a quick moment to do a little bit of housekeeping and reflection on your support here and what we've been able to do with this show. It's just been an amazing journey. I'm so happy to have you all listening on such a consistent basis. It's been really an amazing run, and I'm really excited to just jump into this new year with the same energy as we've been doing for the last few years. So one of the things I wanted to bring up is we got to set our New Year's resolutions. And I know some people have abandoned them and they don't like getting into this, but it's a tradition that I find really, really helpful. So I was going to just take a moment to kind of share mine, right? Like in the health coaching space, my New Year's resolution is to get at least 3 digital products out there. As you know, I have the course out there, how to starting a podcast as a health coach, which is, out there right now. So that's my first one. I definitely want to get another course out there soon, more in the line of probably the weight loss space. I'll do that with Dr. Lori Shemick. That's something that we've been kind of had in the works. I definitely want to get that out this year. And I do want to become an author. I want to at least write a book. And I say it very casually because I pretty much have so much content that I'm just going to repurpose a lot of the podcasting that I've done over the last few years and really just transcribe it, put it together so that I have a whole bunch of material that I could just transform into a book, basically taking the best content of these podcasts and put it together in some version. So I want to at least have a book. So that's definitely my goal. I want to be a guest on more podcasts. So if you're out there and you're starting out and you want a guest, sign me up. I don't care if you have 0 listeners or if you have 1 million. I am down to jump on your show. No questions asked. Let's do it. I just want to be in front of more people and support the health coach community a little better in that regard. I also think as far as this podcast goes, I'm toying with the idea of making this a weekly show. I have so many guests like in the queue. I feel so bad that I don't put them out a little bit sooner. I guess it's to be expected, but I know that in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe I should get these guys out a little faster. So I'm toying with that idea. Right now, we're obviously on a schedule of 3 shows a month and we take a week off. But I definitely am thinking about going for 4. I want to put out more content. I want to provide more value to the listeners. And there's just so many amazing guests that come on this show and present, and they really drop so much knowledge. I just want to get it out there and just kind of keep putting more and more out there in a more abundant way. So that's what I'm looking into a little bit. On a personal note, I want to start working out again. I basically took this entire year off from lifting weights and getting in that kind of shape. I've been pretty consistent with diet and walking and things of that nature, but I definitely want to get into a more physical routine that I can start lifting weights and doing that kind of stuff again. So that's my New Year's resolutions. Really just want to be more positive, just get out there, be more abundant, bring back that energy. So that's a little bit about myself, and I want to hear yours. Reach out to me at OmarCumberbatch.com to let me know what your New Year's resolutions are. And anywhere I could support you, I'd love to. That'd be great. I really appreciate all of you who listen. So I'm really just that's my thing. I want to give you a New Year's resolution that I thought of for you because there is a lack of reviews on this show. So I want you guys to have your first New Year's resolution will be to give me a rating and review on iTunes. That's an easy one. You can knock it out right after the show. And I joke about it because one of the things that I have done in the past is not leave reviews for people who I really follow and really appreciate. Everyone knows I love Sean Croxton. He's my man. I was listening to him for years and I literally never gave him a review ever, and which is amazing because like I said, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Sean Croxton. I probably would have named my firstborn Sean if my cousin didn't have her son named Sean. But that's how much I admired him, and I never left a rating or review. So I know that it escapes us a lot for doing like the little simple things, but it goes a long way for the podcast that we could get great guests on the show. So speaking of great guests, today is definitely a big one. His name is Clark Lagemann, and he is the CEO of Avidon Health, which helps health and wellness coaches scale their businesses. It's a really, really interesting show that we have on today. He drops a lot of gems. He's a perfect guest to kick off the new year, and I'm really excited to share him with you. So I know this was a long intro, unusually long for me, but I wanted to just drop some of those things on you to get this year kicked off right. So let's jump into the show. Hey, Clark, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Doing excellent. Thank you.
We're really excited to have you. You have a wealth of knowledge, and I just want to share, your background experience with health coaches, and just so they get to know you a little bit before we dive into Avidon Health.
Yeah, basically 10 years in the health coaching world. Started my journey really as I identified things that I didn't think were being done in the public domain. So I said, well, instead of saying we should do that, why don't I do that thing? And that's what brought me into health coaching and seeing the sort of impact that coaches can have to change people's lives.
Mm-hmm. And this was in the corporate world too, correct? Like you had a lot of experience in that area, right?
Correct. Yeah, I was working for pharmaceutical companies and medical device companies, and my primary goal was to educate physicians on how to implement different treatment protocols and leveraging either pharmacologic agents or a surgical intervention to get the results that we needed. So those were end stage results. So after all other things failed, we came in to save the day. But there is an opportunity to use behavior change and other tactics that health coaches do so effectively earlier on. So those people would never see us. And that was kind of the motivation I had to say, I don't want to ever see you. I want you to be healthier before you come see me.
Yeah, that's one of the most evident issues in the healthcare system, at least from my outside looking in. Did you find that to be the exact same thing on your end, being in it so deep?
Correct. There's not much money in prevention. So you could see if you look at any of the recent financial data from some of the largest payers in the world, they're making billions of dollars. And primarily it's through the cost containment strategies and navigation of care. But there's just such an opportunity here to empower individuals with the right information at the right time so they can take control of their own health and wellness and be advocates for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So like you mentioned, you did jump out and try to correct the problem at hand. Were you always good at business and had that entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah, just I think much like you, the hustle. You need a hustle to get things done and identifying where you think there is opportunities either to solve a problem, but mostly solve a problem for yourself. If you could find more people that look and sound and act like you do, you're probably onto something there because they probably have the same issues that you're trying to solve for yourself and ultimately scaling a business kind of with that mindset.
Yeah, no, it's just a big leap of faith. So that's why I kind of like where you're telling us where the story went. Can you talk about that just a little bit more as far as like that decision and what was some of the early obstacles that set you off on that path, and what did you maybe have to overcome personally to feel that you were able to do such a big jump into actually doing this on your own?
Yeah, so the leap of faith was over many years, my friend. This was this
Okay.
this was it was not like I woke up on Monday morning and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. It was actually 2 years of lamenting and thinking and debating and saying, why isn't anyone doing this? And finally, I was like, I need to be the guy doing this. I need to stop talking about the change I want to see and create the change I want to see. So my process was working a job, and every night and every weekend it was spending time on this project, this idea. And over time, it started really bleeding into all aspects of my life. And then that was the point I recognized that I need to shift my focus and shift my time, because I would never see the kind of goals or the destination I'd hoped to unless I focus more energy, efforts on this project. And it went everything from going out and raising capital. So going out, knocking on doors, getting people to invest their money with me, and getting investors, sophisticated investors, to write checks to help fund this business. And then trying to find product market fit and bringing consultants in. And just, I've gone through the whole journey. And part of that has motivated me to create an organization that I founded here in New Jersey called Scarlet Startups, which has grown to become the largest entrepreneurial network for students and alumni at Rutgers University. So we host a variety of events to help entrepreneurs start businesses, to teach them certain skills, and also to connect them forward to help great ideas kind of foster and to come up with great products and great services.
That's a fantastic resource. So I know obviously you work with health coaches a lot. It's one of your passions. What have you found to be the major thing that health coaches might be missing once they get their certification and coming out of that program that prevents them from taking drastic steps when it comes to their own business and getting them off the ground?
Yeah. So first step is not the easiest one to solve, but just say the most important thing is you need to have people paying for your services. So that challenge needs to be solved before anything else happens. So the ways that we've worked on that, old fashioned, I mean, knocking on doors, sleeping under people's desks, doing anything we could to get them to trust us that we can help their people get healthier. That was what our journey looked like, and doing it at a very grassroots level, leveraging our networks and contacts and once removes to have someone give us a shot, a chance. And then the hard work begins, which is how do you effectively deliver care, do it consistently with a high degree of personalization, but doing it at scale so you can actually make money. And that is a challenge that I spend most of my time on today, solving for coaching teams and also for individual coaches.
No, absolutely. So you did mention the personalized experience. Can you talk about what that is? And like you mentioned, how do we bring that to a scale where we can just consistently make a profitable return?
Yeah, I mean, look at the world we live in. Everything is personalized. Your Netflix feed, your Twitter feed, your Spotify playlist recommendation. In coaching, no coach can offer a one size fits all approach. So if you think someone needs to lose weight from your experience, you are going to address them a certain way. But if they bring up the fact that they are stressed out at work, then you're going to change your approach to address the stress that they have at work in addition to their weight loss. So the challenge that we've seen in our experience, and we've coached hundreds of thousands of people live, and we've coached millions of people digitally. So we have a lot of data points to prove some of the things I'm going to say. And the piece that we saw that was missing from a coach to deliver these services is what we would call templates. How do you effectively leverage a framework that can be somewhat consistently delivered, but still allow you to sprinkle in elements that are really highly personalized to the individual participant you're coaching and give them the care that they need? Everything from emails to text messages to digital content that these participants can consume, but all through your voice and through all of the insights that you've extracted from talking to these individuals.
So really fascinating because again, I've interviewed over 150 experts in just the space, and like you say, scale, and you just gave me this idea of how you guys operate. What I'm fascinated in trying to find out about how you guys leverage it is that you can only work with one client at a time unless you're like in a group setting. How do you magnify that to the degree where you can actually create and work with so many people and make a living lucratively off that?
Yeah. I mean, so your traditional coaching session, maybe let's just say at longest, maybe it's an hour. Maybe that's the initial coaching session. Then going down from there, 30 minutes or 15 minutes. That's what we see most coaches do. Certainly others extend it differently, but if we're using that as a framework for this conversation, There's 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days in a week. There's a lot of time that's not being used coaching. Most of the time, the coaches are spending their time on admin tasks, tracking down follow-up. Oh, I missed my coaching session. Now I need to type a message out. I need to email that participant, find out why they missed their coaching session. Can they reschedule? So all these things are sucking away time for what coaches do really well, which is coaching,
Right.
engaging people to create behavior change, not spending time on administrative tasks. So we look at all of the things that coaches do that they do on repeat that just take away time from actually working with an individual. You can't replace the working with an individual. That doesn't change. But what happens after that phone call hangs up or the Zoom session ends, that's where you can leverage a lot of these tools, digital tools that can drive more scale for your business.
Okay, I understand. So that, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. So that is like the platform that's called Engagement RX.
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, it's a variety of tools that allow for personalization of engagement, but also creating behavior change at scale.
Of course. So why do you think health coaches will love using this interface? Because I jumped on your website, I hear all these raving reviews about it. What is it in your words that makes this such a hot item for health coaches?
I mean, we drink our own Kool-Aid here. So coaches were the ones that created this. That's the best way you solve your own problems. It's if you're working to solve the issues that you're facing and you realize that other coaches have the same issues, you know you're onto something. So every decision that we made in our product was through the 10 years of experience we have coaching people. Every time we make a new widget, it's because a coach says, how come I can't do this? And then we're like, wow, how come you can't do that? And ultimately it leads into a product discovery and eventually a feature that we enable that can minimize the clicks needed for a coach to do a certain activity. The example I gave you was real. A participant misses a coaching session. What most coaches do, they go and type an email checking in, or they call the participant. They do some sort of action. They do it all the time. So if you're coaching 10 people, that's not a big deal. You're coaching 10,000 people, which is how I think of solving problems. That's a huge deal. You're going to spend a lot of time trying to re-engage these participants to book their session again. What if you could just press a button that they missed the session and all these activities happen for you? An email happens, a text message happens, a reminder comes on your calendar if they don't book in 3 days. That's the way we look at our business. And that's the way we look at solving it for our coaching teams as well.
Gotcha. So I know that you brought up the idea, and we'll dive a little bit more into the platform in a sec. But once you said like how we opened the show, like the most important issue to solve is like getting the clients. How do you go about helping a health coach who uses this platform get clients, or is that something that's totally on them?
Yeah, it's definitely on them. I mean, we do things like this, which is educate the market. So those are always opportunities for people to pull out tidbits and factoids that they can run with. But really, the hard work is going to be on the coach to leverage their networks and leverage their communities to identify those in need. And if you look around in the world today, there's no shortage of need. People are unhealthy. They're sicker more than they ever have been. And they're reliant on a lot of solutions that don't solve the root problem, which is typically behavior change, which is why I was so connected to health coaching from an early age. I'm not that old, but earlier than I am today. I was in pharmaceutical industry for many years. I was in medical device for many years, but I still kept saying it's not about just giving them the solution, which could be a pharmacologic agent or actually a surgical intervention. It's about creating behavior change and getting them to get there on their own. So we always think of how do we get people to get there on their own so they can sustain the change over time.
And one of the things that I've also noticed is that the platform not only is of great use to health coaches, but to the actual person who's being coached. Like the feedback on that is very good. So why do you think this platform is so powerful in getting the actual patient results?
Yeah, working with people, you learn so much. I mean, the amount of knowledge you have and your listeners have by coaching individual people informs so many decisions of what you do today. And we looked at really building a technology tool that considered all of those data points we've ever had from individuals and consistently try to make them better. So connecting with people and leveraging what we do in our tool, which is cognitive behavioral training techniques, to bring effective communication that's personalized to individuals, but making it in a way that they can see success initially and also can sustain that success over time. So tips that we've learned that seem obvious but are important is one, making sure that the information is accessible. So accessibility can mean a lot of things. One could be someone that's very old, they need a screen reader. Well, you need to have a technology solution that can actually allow people to use a screen reader on the system. We do that. Another piece is maybe their education level. We do things that are basically written in sixth grade reading level, which is important. It needs to be approachable. And then also diversity, language. We do this in 14 languages. So each person has their own style of learning or education. We want to make sure we remove every roadblock possible to get people started and get people sustained on the project that they're working on, which is some sort of health improvement.
Mm-hmm. So I this is the first time I've heard of Engagement RX. Like, what are your competitors that we may be familiar with? So, and how do this platform stack up to those?
Yeah, primarily we work with enterprise coaching teams. So in this space, I don't see really anyone doing this type of offering. If you go further, downstream, you have a lot of other kind of smaller health coaching solutions out there that are designed to do everything from billing for coaches to creating workflows and maybe helping them with scheduling. We provide all of the content in multi-languages and provide a true CRM that sits for the coach, as well as a participant-facing dashboard and experience for those that they want to deliver care to.
Okay. So there is a concept that I've discovered while I'm just doing research on this idea of hybrid coaching. And what is it specifically, and how can health coaches leverage that?
Yeah, and just think of the hybrid work environment. So in the old way, it was everyone went to work each day and they expected a certain sort of delivery. I'm going to come in at 9, I'm going to lead the 5. And with coaching, that what we've seen since COVID, even before this, but certainly since COVID, the adoption of different technologies and different mediums in which they want to participate and experience communication through. So what we look at and what we try to solve is, how do people want to receive information, either live through a coaching session, so Zoom or audio, or maybe it's consuming a piece of content, and that content could be written, it could be an audio piece of content, or it could be a video piece of content. And we just constantly try to think about addressing people where they are to streamline the entire process for a coach, so they don't have to worry about, well, Clark wants it this way, but Bill wants it that way. We want to say, just press the button and all the work is done for you.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I know that we touched on a lot of different things right now. So I just wanted to kind of dive into your perspective of, like, what do you see health coaches' role in the future? I know that you are passionate about it, and you have a strong belief that we are going to play a larger role. And the pharmaceutical companies, of course, have a bigger role in the profit on the other end. Do you see it being difficult to kind of get people's minds around the idea of prevention? And I say that specifically because I do see men suffer a lot in this space regarding just the preventative outcome, and that we really don't do anything until it's really needed. So I just wanted to get like a little bit of overview. What do you thought of that, and maybe a little futuristic observations?
Yeah. Well, the difference between men and women could be a whole topic on its own. But think about the last time we were driving somewhere, the stereotypical male doesn't want to ask for directions, even though they're lost and the Google Maps isn't working. So the psychology of a man to ask for care is different. It's unusual. And that's actually what I used to do in medical device in that world. It was addressing men for a very stigma associated condition, erectile dysfunction, and helping them feel comfortable with seeking care in a way that felt natural to them. So there are nuances around that, but there are just some common themes that I've seen that generally apply to, again, going back to this health coaching behavior change. It's how you reach people, how you engage with them, and also how you make them feel that they're part of the journey, not telling them what they need to do. And I believe, from all the information, all the facts I have, that health coaching is going to explode. It's going to continue to grow significantly. The data shows that it is growing significantly, but I look at tailwinds, and the tailwinds that I see currently are an aging demographic. So people are getting older faster. And the other people who are getting older are healthcare providers. There's going to be a shortage of healthcare providers over the next 20 years, a significant shortage. And many of the large healthcare systems, hospital groups, physician practices, and even all the way going through to payers, they are employing health coaches right now as an adjunct to their traditional care model. And I see that to continue to be the theme and the thread that will happen in the future, as much so as that there's, as you would already know, billable codes for health coaches that are getting more and more adopted. And it's going to become more and more mainstream, in which coaches now have the ability to leverage the premiums that people are paying for within their own insurance programs to actually get care through them and through their practices, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I think that's definitely been a great development over the last couple of years. What's interesting is I've had a lot of health coaches who are really, I guess, they're bigger named health coaches who are not a fan of the insurance at all because they're not able to actually charge more for their services.
Correct.
Like they kind of eliminate the high end availability as far as getting a bigger paycheck from a potential client. But for the majority of health coaches, I think that was one of the things that was very, very much missing because most people are used to having their insurances pay for any type of care. And for them to actually have an opportunity to do that, a lot of people were very happy to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's the option. I mean, as consumers, we want the option. Do I want to use my HSA card, my FSA card? Do I want to use my insurance plan? Do I want to pay cash? So now I have 4 different options that potentially allow me to take advantage of services that I so desperately need. That, to me, I don't see how it could possibly be a downside, because any coach that doesn't want to participate in that program doesn't have to. There's a tremendous amount of physician practices right now that don't accept any insurance. They're concierge practices. They charge you either pay as you go or through a monthly premium in which you have access to the provider on a 24/7 basis. So I love that optionality, because then it creates opportunities for coaches to win in the sort of businesses that they hope to pursue.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So, if someone's who's interested in checking out this platform, what is available to them to maybe have like a trial or just like get more information about how they can utilize the system?
Yep. Yeah. So we do offer trials for coaches to leverage our tool. And basically they can why don't I give you a link and we can add it to this podcast. So that would be probably a good way for people to take action on, so they can find it and they don't need to seek it out anywhere. And basically we'll offer them a period of time in which coaches can use the tool, create some personalized experiences, load it up with some members, and actually see the work happen.
Okay. Yeah, no, that'd be great. If you have Sarah, just throw me an email. I'll throw it in the show notes and we'll take advantage of that. Like I said, the direct link. So I guess what do you think as far as wrapping this up, what is think is the next step in your company, or maybe in your specific journey, like as you're walking this vision to get this to be such a prominent thing in the health space?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I see in coaching and even in our business is, and I started with this, and I think it's appropriate to end, is like doing it at scale. Not anyone, a well-trained coach can do an incredible job, but you only can do an incredible job for a small number of people. The biggest opportunity to make the biggest difference in the world, which is why I think a lot of people went into coaching, because they want to make a huge impact, is to do it at scale. And you need to leverage tools and technologies to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible.
No, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And the more people that we're able to touch, obviously, the better the world is, but the better our finances will be when we do that as well. So,
yeah, if you're making an impact and you're getting people healthier, what happens? They tell their friend, they tell their family member, they tell their coworker, this is the person that did it for me. That's the best way to grow a business, is by creating an impact and creating outcomes for your participants. Because if you can't move the needle on them, you shouldn't be doing this job, and you shouldn't be out there asking more people to trust you. Because just like when I started my business and I asked people to give me their money because I'm going to build this company, it's because they believed in me. And people give you money as a coach because they believe in you to help them get to their health goals.
No, absolutely. So, Clark, you've been fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time today. Can you just share your information as far as how we can keep up with all the good stuff you're doing? I know me and you jumped on LinkedIn together, but I know you have a variety of ways for health coaches to get in touch with you and your team. So can you provide that?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, they could go to avidonhealth.com. So AVIDON health.com. Every month we come up with a great newsletter filled with rich insights about what's happening in coaching and what are some great tools and techniques that coaches can use to scale up their businesses. And of course, you can find us at any of the primary social media websites with the same Avidon Health moniker.
Excellent. So again, Clark, thanks for just taking that leap of faith and giving a health coaches such an awesome resource for them to scale their businesses. And I'm really excited to hear feedback from my community. And I hope that they you up on some of these offers and jump on your platform and really start scaling those businesses. So really excited about that.
Yeah, thank you for the time, and let's make a difference together.
Yes, sir. All right, looking forward to that. All right, Clark, have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You as well.
Hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. If you did, jump over to iTunes and leave a rating and or review. It goes a long way in helping get this message out to our fellow health coaches and people in our industry. Also, if you can, jump over to my website, omarcumberbatch.com, where I give out a lot of freebies, including my 5-day sugar challenge for people who are having issues with sugar. And also for health coaches, I have the book, Hidden. It's the 6 not so obvious ways to get your clients unstuck. Have a great day.